Hey guys, welcome to Row 87, Season 2, Episode 8. I am Schutz.
I'm Boom.
Boom, you sound terrific.
I sound as good as PJ Fleck and his boys looked against South
right
Dakota
for the throat,
State.
right out of it. Oh,
Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Yeah, I sound terrible.
Yeah, no, that was a sloppy game. We'll get to that.
But I look good.
Yeah, you always look good. We both look good. Pretty soon we'll be on video. That is coming. But yeah, no, that was a hell of a game tonight, wasn't it?
It was fun to watch, to finally get to see some meaningful college football.
Yeah, I don't know how meaningful it will be if you're a Gopher fan. But
it's week one.
I know. We'll get into
it.
We'll get into it. I'm excited. Officiating starting for me tomorrow.
And congrats on that, by the way.
Absolutely. I'm stoked. Me and my crew will be heading out to a small school in rural Nebraska.
And I started fall ball last weekend, and then there's nothing this weekend because of the holiday. So I do nothing on Sunday.
Well, it sounds like you're going to need a couple of days. Hopefully. A little rest.
Possibly. I got to work tomorrow. Got to work Saturday. And then I get Sunday, Monday to relax. So we'll see.
Hey, bud. Football season's here.
Football's here.
I'm stoked. Tonight was just a tasting. It was fun just to hang out with you.
It was.
Just watch football, catch some games, some upsets. Who was it? Your boy Chip Kelly down there.
I'll tell you what. I already feel like I have egg on my face because last year I was talking about how within a couple of years I thought he was going to be winning his division, and I don't know that he's. Listen, I know it's early, man, and it's week one. I'm the one preaching. Ever since we watched the game, we leave the bar, we come back to the studio, and I've been saying week one. The same way I've been a believer in Chip Kelly at the college level, especially in the Pac-12.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I wonder if it's one of those things. Me and you have always preached location, and setting for people. Let me give you an example. Does Bill Snyder work anywhere else but Kansas State?
Probably not.
Does Pat Fitzgerald work anywhere else but Northwestern?
I would say yes.
Maybe
not
the
to the extent.
But the gamble here is maybe, right? It's a huge maybe.
Maybe.
It's a huge, just like Craig Bowl at Wyoming.
Correct.
Just like the current guy they're bringing in from North Dakota State down to K-State. Yeah, but it's always setting. What do you got? What do you bring to the table that says you belong to this university and you understand it? Right. Because it is a culture thing. We were talking culture big tonight about what's going on.
Row your boat.
Bro, yeah, that is a team that, while it is week one, I'm gonna concede that it's week one. You never do know, but I'll tell you what, you can completely, in the first week, figure out who are the posers, who are the teams that have legitimate chance.
Guys, Schutz is so scared of PJ Fleck in Minnesota and the Huskers traveling
to Minneapolis
this year. He is so afraid of PJ Fleck.
I know it.
That's why he hates on him.
I'm more afraid of your boy this year than I am mine.
Something's going on, man. Something is going on in Champaign. Something doesn't smell right. And I'm not talking about wins this year. And you planted this in my brain with the whole what's going on?
Yeah.
How are they getting these kids? Now, I'm not saying that there aren't going to be 4 stars that choose a different Big Ten team over Nebraska. Because hell, what have we done?
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, let's be honest. We haven't done anything in a long time.
True.
Neither has Illinois.
But that's just, I don't get what they're selling up there. No, this is not the Minnesota, hate Illinois show, but I don't get how you're getting you got 4 recruits next year's class, 4 stars. What are you selling?
I don't know that we have a 4-star yet.
We have a couple. I think we do. Here's the deal. What are you selling? Are you selling that he's on the hot seat? Let's be honest here. It's Bowler.
I don't know, man. The closer we get and the more and more kids he signs, I don't know. He wins 5 games.
I think if he wins 5, he's fine.
Safe.
He's safe because he can say I won more than last year. I have them down. We're going to get to this in the rankings. I actually have them going to a bowl. That's their high end. I have them at 6-6 high end. I think there's also potential they go 4-8, but I have them high end at 6-6, and that means they're going to knock off 3 Big Ten teams. Yeah, I don't. You do it. Don't you do it yet. Too early for that. Not now.
Okay.
Not now. No, I don't know. You just week one. It's like this matchup we have this weekend, and we're going to get to the predictions. The only thing good when you play a slop team, and this is all due respect to South Dakota State.
I said with all due respect.
That does not mean you can say whatever you want, Boo.
Sure as heck does.
When you play teams like that, it's a lose-lose. Take Nebraska, for example, this weekend. We go out there, or Troy last year. We lost. Somebody forgot to send the memo to Troy that they were a cash money game, and we're supposed to lay down. they're a nightmare. You blow the team out, you were supposed to. It's tight, you win, you don't look good, people are nervous. You lose, it's the sky is falling. It's a lose-lose to schedule them, but I'll tell you what, I know it's week 1, but that Minnesota team, if they're contending for the West, we have different opinions on that, but we both can agree that is not a good look. You do not want an 8-4 Northwestern rolling into the Big Ten championship. Not because they didn't earn it, they did, they won. But you have an 8-4 team representing you on your division. I don't care what conference you're in.
And I think we could still see that.
It's possible.
Not necessarily Northwestern. Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin. Any of those teams could be 8-4.
It's not a good look.
It's not.
It's not a good look.
And I don't think that tonight's performance helps the West's image early.
No, not
early
at all.
In the season,
that team that we saw, it's early. We're not making bold predictions about whatever team's going to do.
No. But
that team looked fat. They looked out of shape. They looked lethargic. Holy cow, that did not look good. They clutched. They stole victory. They stole victory in that game.
Did. They got out hustled. They got outplayed. They just made fewer mistakes.
Yep, that's what it was. South Dakota State game to game, but that's football. That's football. We got a lot to go. What do you think? Local news wise, we just got news that Andre Hunt, Katarian Legrone, tight end, Katarian Legrone, Andre Hunt, receiver. Out. Well, not out, but suspended indefinitely.
They must have done something huge because Mo Washington's still at practice. Look, I'm not throwing Scotty under a bus. Mo Washington's still practicing every day.
And he's facing a felony.
He's got a felony charge right now, and he's on the field, not playing, but practicing.
I wonder. The only intrigue I have is it's no real loss either one of those guys because they're unproven commodities that were actually Andre Hunt
was going to see some clock.
He might have seen some clock. Katarian Legrone, not really. He's so buried on the tight end depth chart. But what I find intriguing about it is this close to game day, Andre Hunt was just on all the tabloids last week talking about his excitement and his excitement for his brothers and getting on the field and how it's all clicking. And yet they don't want to talk about it. Scott said he didn't know much about it, but he felt it best to suspend him, which begs the question, if it's criminal, you'd think it'd hit the tabloids by now. Did they pop on a drug test? I don't want to speculate because who knows?
You know what? I didn't even think of I don't know why I didn't, but maybe the drug test.
Or maybe, which we can roll into the Mo Washington thing. If that's the case, that's a criminal act, and I'm not trying to create or stir garbage or stir up a controversy here. We have no idea. Hell, they could have gotten in a big fight in the locker room, and it caused a bunch of riffraff, and they didn't want it, and they just said, "You're done. We gotta ship to right here." Whatever. Who knows? But when you take something like that, and you can kind of tie in the Mo Washington thing to this. Everybody's like, "Will he play? Will he not?" Boy, I think that Scott Frost loves his players, first and foremost. I really do. I think in the case of Mo Washington, he not only loves the kid, he's sticking his neck out for him. And let's be honest, he's a stud who could start at most schools in this country.
Yes.
Most of them. Not all, most. He would start. So, yeah, he's going to play this one close to the vest. I don't think it's like here, let's be honest, do they grease palms and do things happen where players, it kind of gets slid. This day and age is a little different, but do I think that hands get shaken and envelopes get passed and, we'll get you tickets up to the booth? Do I think that goes on? You're darn right I think it goes on. I think it goes on more than people want to give it credit for. I realize we're good old Nebraska U. I'm a Cornhusker through and through. I get it. But I certainly do believe that stuff goes on. In the case of Mo Washington, they have no leverage. They have no leverage. This is a case in California. Yeah, aside from Californians and Nebraskans that sit in a section of the stadium, nobody cares that a player from Nebraska.
Yeah,
And so they can't. I think Scott's trying to. I think what's going on is he's trying to fight with his PR department in Lincoln, the upper echelon, and they're like, Scott, what side of the coin do you want to take on this? You have the innocent until proven guilty, which is certainly a stance, and maybe we do see Mo play. But boy, what a gamble! What a gamble! They put him out on the field. He plays. He does whatever he does what Mo does, and he's awesome. And he gets convicted of a felony for child pornography. And you knew about it the whole time. That's how this looks. It's a PR nightmare when you look at this. And so I think what they're trying to do is get that felony taken away. I don't think they're going to get an answer this weekend. I don't think he's going to play.
I don't think he plays this weekend either, and I want to say it's this week upcoming that he's supposed to have.
I believe it's a couple days after this
hearing.
game. Monday or Tuesday, I think he's going to court in California.
So we may know an awful lot after this week. I would be shocked if he plays. I mean, absolutely floored.
Yeah,
if he plays
so
at
would
all.
I. It's just one of those that it's so much of a gamble. I believe in the due process, and I believe in let this kid have his day in court. I'm not ready to throw him to the wolves. But I think that Scotty, you can tell the stress in his face in the interviews today. He really wants to help this kid, and he looked like a guy. It's like watching somebody drown from the dock, and you can't do anything about it. And I think that's what Scotty's going through right now. I really do. Down in Lincoln with that player, I don't know. I think it looks grim right now. I think we're gonna have more answers as the weeks come, but I think he's out. I do.
Well, I think he's definitely out game one. I think if it becomes a misdemeanor situation,
we'll talk. Yeah,
he'll play.
Yeah,
If it's a misdemeanor, he plays. He might not play until
non-con's over.
I would even go one game past that and say Ohio State.
Because you got to remember, he also got popped for marijuana.
Because he's a moron.
Yeah. You get back from court, and days after you get back from court, facing a felony, you get popped in your dorm room with marijuana. I don't know. I hate to condemn the kid. We don't know what's going on in California. I think we're going to get a lot more clarity in the next few days.
Yes.
But what a situation, and you could just tell Scott Frost was so uncomfortable up there. And I think he's doing the right thing. I like to give the benefit of the doubt, not just because we're fans, we're from Nebraska, but what a situation. Because if you throw the kid to the wolves, any kid, what's that show internally in your locker room about what you think of them?
Yeah.
But also,
but at the same time, there's two guys that are no longer partaking in activities on the team, and we don't know why.
Yeah.
But it's not a felony, because if it were a felony, we'd all know.
Or
now,
God, we could go down the
But at the same time, this could be one of those team rule things to where Scott Frost is sending a message very early before the season starts that we're not here to mess around.
It could be an example. Don't quote me on this as gospel, but it could be, son, you've popped the test again, and again, and again. I gotta lay the wood sometime here. I've got to do something.
And I could see it being that, because and look, this is not just an issue in Lincoln. No. It's not.
What this example we're talking about?
Yeah, weed.
Yeah.
Because I mean, listen, I don't partake myself. I did when I was a young man.
Yep.
A lot when I was a young man. I have zero issue with it. I don't see how it enhances anyone's performance. I could see how it would be a more natural painkiller.
Yeah.
If you're hurting. But and it's
today's weed is when we were kids booze.
Correct. It's the equivalent.
Now we don't know. We'll cut it off there because we don't know. I think that we're going to get a lot more light shed on that situation in the coming. I know Scott wants to protect his players, but it's intriguing to me just the fact that if it's internal, these kids are on scholarship, Scott. You have to come up with an answer why they're not
correct
on the team. So I think we're going to get one eventually.
Maybe. Eventually, hopefully.
So, apparently, there's a lot of football games going on this weekend.
Really?
Did you hear? Well, we got a couple already solved in the top 25. UCF had a barn burner, a tight one with Florida A&M 62-0.
Yes.
Clemson played your boy Georgia Tech pretty close, 52-14. I don't think they covered.
Trevor Lawrence had 2 picks, 1 touchdown and 2 picks.
Really?
Now they blew him out.
Right, they blew him out. I don't think they covered though. No, they didn't. I think they were.
And
higher.
I want to say he was close to 50% with his completion percentage, but it's week 1. It's week 1.
Texas A&M 41-7. That's the major one. Utah's in a fight right now. It ended the third 16-6 with the BYU, the Holy War. That'd be an interesting one. You know what? You talk about week 1s. Every first couple of weeks in the non-con, you see a couple of top 25 teams go bye-bye.
Yes, you do.
Every year you do. So, I'm going to do top 25, taking the points or selling?
I sell them all.
You sell them all?
No.
Michigan State, Tulsa. Tomorrow night, Michigan State by 23.5. That offense was horrific last year. He's known as a defensive guy.
I'm not giving up 23.
Nope.
No, I'm not giving up 23.
You taking the points?
I'm taking points.
I think I'll take the points in that one too. Wisconsin at USF Wisconsin by 11.
I'll give the points on that. I'll give up the 11 on that.
I think I will too. I think on Wisconsin I will. We'll get to ours. Ohio State FAU. Ohio State by 27.5.
That's a tough one for me to read, man.
Because of the day, you just don't know.
Exactly. I'd have to sell. I don't think I could drop those points.
4 touchdowns.
I think I'm taking the points.
11 o'clock kickoff. You know what? I'm going to gamble. Go benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give Day that. I'm going to take it. I'm going to say he wins by 4 touchdowns exactly. Northern Iowa. Iowa State. You're high on Campbell. Iowa State by 18.5. It's at Iowa State.
You know what? I'm going to drop the points.
Are you really? Okay.
I am a believer in Matt Campbell. I truly believe that they have a very good chance of finishing second in the Big 12 this year.
Behind Oklahoma.
I think Texas is overhyped.
Okay.
That's not just a hatred thing. I just not buying into the little bits I saw last year that they're back at all.
Duke, Alabama. I don't know where. I think that's played in Atlanta. I'm pretty sure that one's played in Atlanta. Duke, Alabama by 33.5.
I'll drop them. I'll drop the 33.
Will you really?
Yeah. Week 1. I think Nick Saban's going to want to send a message early.
Okay. I'm reserved, but I'm actually going to agree with you on that one. I think so too. Usually what he does, once the season gets going, he coasts. Once he's got a sizable lead, 4 touchdowns, put it in neutral. Put it in first, and let's just granny it home.
He's lost a couple to Dabo now, and I think he needs to prove himself.
You think this is a farewell tour for Nick if it all goes to plan?
I think if they win the national championship this year, he sets sail.
Do you really?
He's done.
I actually
entertain
entertain that.
He goes out on top. He's out because
it'll be against Dabo.
It will be. I truly believe that is your final right now.
I don't know if we want to go crazy on week 1's 50%. Trevor Lawrence, you ain't going to the show. I'm goating you.
Absolutely.
Goating you.
You never know. You never know.
Northwest. This is an intriguing one to me, Boomer. And we'll get this. We're going to get the Big Ten next after the top 25, but we'll cover it anyway. We're here. Northwestern, Stanford. Battle of the GPAs. At Stanford, 3 o'clock kickoff. Stanford by 6.5. I'm giving up the points. I think Stanford's going to win.
I think Stanford wins. I don't know if they win by a touchdown.
Really?
Yeah. I think there's 2 teams that are perennially good, sometimes overachievers.
Oh, overachieving without a doubt is
well coached. 2 well-coached teams. And Fitzy's got something to prove because no one thinks they have a shot at the West. I'm
one of them, Boom. You know me. I like Fitzgerald. I respect the hell out of him as a coach. I make fun of him.
Horse face.
But I damn well respect him. You know what? I just think that I think Stanford wins it by 7 points. Traditionally, I think Stanford covers it because Northwestern, what do? They always start off slow. Then by the end of October into November, they're unstoppable for some reason. Even when they go 500, they win in November, but it takes forever to get them there. We'll see about that quarterback situation. Syracuse, Liberty. At Liberty, Syracuse by 18.
I'll drop the 18.
So will I. Liberty's got Hugh Freeze as their coach. The old Miss scandal. I'll take Syracuse in that one all day long.
They don't cheat in the SEC. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
All right, here's one for you. Georgia, Vanderbilt. Georgia's 3rd ranked. At Vandy, Georgia by 22.5.
I'll drop it. I'll drop 22.5.
So will I. This is interesting. Georgia Southern, who plays Minnesota, your boys, PJ, in 2 weeks. Not next week, but the week after. Georgia Southern at LSU. LSU's 6th ranked. LSU by 27.5. At Death Valley.
Yeah.
And you're only giving them 20. I know that doesn't sound.
And it's not like LSU's known for putting up like huge points, but I think they're good. I don't know if they're as good as their ranking, but I do think that they'll cover that spread. I do.
I do too. I think they will. Middle Tennessee State at Michigan. Michigan by 34.5.
I'll take the points.
You'll take the points.
I'll take the points.
They lost a lot, didn't they? They lost quite a few people. On defense, they did. Offense, they got Patterson back.
Listen, okay, just as I am nervous and skeptical about all the hype with Nebraska this year, I think that Michigan is bound. I'm not saying this about Nebraska, but like I'm very skeptical of the Huskers being able to do what everybody thinks they're going to be able to do this year. I don't think Michigan is going to do what everybody thinks they're going to do.
Really?
I could see Michigan finishing third or fourth.
Really? That's
in the
bold.
East.
Because a lot of pundits, I didn't say I agree with them, but a lot of pundits think that it's Jimmy, this is your year. If it's not.
Well, if it's not Jimmy's year, it's not going to happen, and the clock starts. He has to beat, in order for the clock to not start ticking on him, he has got to beat
Well, there's two teams in particular.
both. He has got to beat both Michigan State and Ohio State, and probably Penn State, because he could. I think they could finish behind those three teams.
I'm actually going to give up the points. I think Michigan trounces this team. This one I do. Oh, my boy Richie, my Marine Corps brother, and he went to Middle Tennessee State. He's not going to like me much. But anyway, Oregon, Auburn. You know what? I actually have Oregon.
I picked in our. By the way, we have a college pick'em.
Yep.
Going on. Sign up. Search it on ESPN.com. College pick'em.
Row 87.
And then the password is Fleck
and Lovey.
and Lovey.
Capital F, capital L, ampersand, just Fleck, ampersand, Lovey.
Get signed up. I have Oregon. I took Oregon.
I took Oregon as well, too. I don't want to give all our picks away.
No,
I'm going to win this whole thing. Actually, you know who's going to win it all? I had two of my girlfriends that I know real well. They signed up for it. They're not really big into college. One of them.
You're not talking about Steven, are you?
No, he's actually the old coach is involved in it. I got a couple friends involved in it. We need you guys to sign up. It's going to be fun. And hey, at the end of the year, we're giving out prizes. See if you can beat Boom and I.
It's not going to be hard.
Ashley, I think Ashley's the front runner to win it.
Probably.
Row 87, Fleck and Lovey, ESPN College Pick'em. It's straight up. It's not confidence points. Just pick the winners. 10 games each week. It's fun. It's free. Miami of Ohio at Iowa. Iowa's 20th ranked. Iowa by 21.5.
I'll drop the 21.5.
Well,
I will.
I will too.
Miami of Ohio. You know what?
I don't know.
This might upset your boy, but I'd probably drop damn near that much if they were playing the Miami Hurricanes. I am so not bought in at all to Miami this year, but that's another topic for another day.
We'll save that for another time. I don't know. Miami's got a lot going on. The Hurricanes got a lot going on down there that I just scratched my head at. Louisiana Tech at your boys Texas. Texas by 19.5. I'll give up the points.
So will I.
Texas, although you're not high on them, I think Texas is going to roll in that one, in that particular game.
I would agree with you there.
New Mexico State, the dumpster fire that they are, versus Washington State, 23rd ranked. Washington State by 31.5.
Ooh. You know what? Yeah, that offense, that mind. I'll drop the points.
I'm not. I think they're going to win big, but I'm not going to drop 31.5. Not on that one. I think that they're going to roll. I'm probably going to eat my words on that one. But I'm actually going to come on, Aggies, keep it within 4 touchdowns in a field goal. Oklahoma, Houston. Oklahoma by 23.
Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Oklahoma rolls. Here's one for you. You said college football for you doesn't start till Monday because of this matchup. Notre Dame, Louisville. At Louisville, Notre Dame by 19.
Drop it. Drop the 19.
I'm going to join you on that. I'm going to drop the 19 as well. On to the Big Ten. On to the Big Ten, Boom. We already covered Michigan State. We already covered Wisconsin. Here's one for you. This one, talk about 150 years of football. It all started with this school, and wow, are they a proud tribute. UMass taking on Rutgers, the birthplace of college football. I've been there. It's actually a nice stadium. It's actually not a bad stadium. The area is nice, good restaurants. It's pretty cool. It's all tucked in. It's a nice place to go. It's a good venue to go to. The team is absolute horse manure, but they are favored by 16.5 against UCant or UMass, whatever you want to call them.
I'll drop the points.
You think Rutgers got it?
Yes.
Yep. Call me crazy. I think Rutgers is going to cover. Purdue, Nevada.
Yes.
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 Purdue by 11.
Yes.
At Nevada.
Yes.
Nope.
Rondale Moore by himself beats them by 11.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go wild card. I get crazy on week 1. I'm gonna say Nevada. I'm gonna take the points. We saw your boy Flecky tonight win it 28-21 over South Dakota State. FAU Ohio State. We covered that one. Here's one for you. Probably the most intriguing matchup of the weekend for the Big Ten. Howard taking on Maryland. Maryland by 29.5.
The DMV?
The DMV.
I'm taking the points. I know it's Howard. I know it's Howard. I'm taking the points.
I'm only because it's 29.5. I'm going to join you on that sentiment.
And that's why. If this is a 23-point spread, I'd probably drop it. 29 is awfully high for a team that
29.5.
Like watching them at media days.
Clown shoes came to mind for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did the damn circus get to town?
Yeah. Remember last season when we did the whole circus music for PJ Fleck? The circus is coming to town. That's going to be every week for Maryland.
Well, yeah, but I have them down the road as a possible trap game, maybe. But
yes.
But then again, a lot of the experts locally here thought that Minnesota would be a trap game. I don't think so anymore. But
I still think it might be.
Akron versus Illinois. The Fighting Santabeards versus the Zips. Illinois by 18. And this one, I think Illinois covers that. I do.
So do I. I'm dropping the points.
I think that Illinois is I predict that Illinois is going to get out of the cellar. I think that Illinois is not going to be the 7th-ranked team in the West when this is all said and done. I actually fear them a little bit more than Maryland, certainly more than Minnesota, is a trap game. I've been to that place. It is god-awful. They don't really care much about football around those parts, but that stadium is the weirdest damn stadium I've ever been to. It's like a wind chime. You don't know where the wind's coming from, and if they catch them right, I don't know. I think that we should breeze through Illinois, but they're one of those that I look at and I go, I said this before spring ball. They're a team that if the cards fall right, are going bowling. They are. I think all the cards are going to have to fall right.
So then who's the cellar dweller?
Right now, in my mind,
West.
In the West, Minnesota.
You are so afraid. You are so afraid of PJ Fleck.
I am. I'm terrified of him. I'm just terrified of how he rows the boat. Illinois, Ball State. I think they're playing that one in Indy. They're playing it at the Colt Stadium, Lucas Oil. Indiana by 17.5. They're so
drop it.
Okay.
Drop.
Indiana's one of those teams you just never can figure out, can you?
No.
Them in Illinois, they're one of those I worry about. We talked about rolling out the black shirts for the alternate uniforms. That's a game I'd do it for to make sure the kids don't overlook them.
I might try to get tickets to that just to go.
The Indiana game?
Since we went to Bloomington in 2016.
I'm with you.
I might try to get tickets to go watch the Hoosiers come to Lincoln.
I might be there. We'll see what the Oracle wants to do. I'm not allowed at season openers anymore. So I'll be watching this first weekend over at my buddy's place. But Idaho, Penn State, because they're not even Division I anymore. Well, they're not Division FBS. There's no spread on it. They're playing Penn State at Penn State. I think Penn State's going to roll.
Roll Tide.
You said it about this is the year Penn State might be pretty they're open.
They're an enigma to me this season. And again, I think they could finish.
They're vulnerable to me.
They are, but I think they could also finish. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why or what it is. You pointed out that you think that they have just gotten through having a generational back, which is obvious. Saquon Barkley was a freaking beast. Okay, he's a stud in the NFL. Trace McSorley, undervalued as a college quarterback. Not top tier, but I think undervalued.
Completely undervalued.
He was a special player.
He was.
There's something about the East this year that makes me go, if James Franklin plays his cards right and makes a real push, it opens doors for him And as the used car salesman that you say he is, what better way to capitalize on that? If USC, listen.
If the team in LA flops.
USC is going to flop this year. USC's job will be open this year if they do not go to Herb. The two names that come to mind, and this is just me. This is not, maybe there are experts saying these names. I don't know. You've got James Franklin. You've got Matt Campbell.
Yeah.
And
that's entertaining.
James Franklin, if he plays his cards right, he doesn't have to win the East. If he finishes second,
yep,
then chances are he's getting out of Happy Valley.
Sure.
And he's in Southern California selling cars.
Yep.
Where he could do a hell of a lot more.
You threw PJ in that category. Not maybe not, but you said
what I said tonight was I think he lost himself that job tonight.
Yep, you did. You did say that.
I think he lost. Yes, he's a guy who I think if he and they could listen, they could still. I don't want to give my Husker predictions quite yet in the show. I think that's a team that could beat Nebraska, even though they struggled tonight. I don't know why. It's one of those games to where it's like it's not even logic. It's just I got a feeling about that game.
I think we're also letting 15 years of disappointment and 15 years of how did that happen?
I've been sold the bill of goods that Nebraska's back for a long time, and until I see it for myself, and you can call me a hater, and it's not going to hurt my. I sleep well no matter what people think of me or what they say. I don't care. I really don't. But I until I see it, and I said this last year on the show, season 1. I'm done listening. I'm done listening to the coaching staff. I'm done listening to the players. I know it's a new season, a new team. I'm done listening. Show me. Consider me Missouri and show me. Show me that you're capable of it. I'm not saying they can't. I'm saying I can't believe the hype until I start to see tangible evidence of it being true.
Well, speaking of show me, this weekend we're going to get a show.
We are going to get a show.
11 o'clock kickoff, Memorial Stadium, South Alabama rolls into town.
I thought you were talking about like some NFL or something.
Oh, yeah. That is so hard to watch.
Preseason
is so hard to watch.
For the first time in my life, though, I have 2 fantasy teams.
Do you really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the people that I'm in these leagues with, but I decided to take the plunge and give it a shot as a rookie. And who knows, maybe next year, we'll have a Row 87 league that people could get in. Maybe some of you guys, and gals are more, NFL types. There was a table full of people tonight at the bar.
Yep.
That were drafting. It was their draft. I knew they were draft. It was a draft because there were a couple guys in jerseys, and they had their laptops.
Yeah. Well,
so laptops and jerseys. They had their draft at the bar while watching some preseason because they were watching the pros.
We didn't. I thought we were in the corner of the bar. We had our own big screen, and I mean,
huge
projector. And I had the waitress. We know the staff well. I said, listen, put on the college game. And I think they were stuck in that corner, and I don't know if they enjoyed that too much, but I did.
I don't care about the other people. We had a good time.
We had a good time, had good conversation, and it brings us to what? This weekend, South Alabama. You know what? We just watched a team tonight that, underperformed.
Should have won by at least, let's be, again, week 1. 20 points.
Yeah.
I mean, would that be fair? Against, listen, and not to make excuses, South Dakota State, they're a good football team.
They are a good football team.
They're a tough football team, and they're in the top 5, top 10 every year.
FCS.
At their level. They are a quality football team. That being said, Minnesota should have won this football game by 20 points or more.
They won by 7, and
they were lucky to
They stole the game.
So, okay, you and I witnessed with our boy Krauth firsthand last year, Troy, come to Lincoln.
Week 1s are crazy. This is I referenced this earlier. It's a lose-lose, this game. So it kind of, for me, I guess I draw this game up to what do you hope, what do you fear, and what do you think? What do I hope? 56-14 would be amazing to me. That'd be the spread's 36.5. I didn't really care about the spread, but something like 56-14, 55-10, 52-10 would be amazing. I don't think that's going to happen. I fear, absolute fear, what we saw 2 years ago. Now, I know week one is simply that, and a lot can happen in a season. But 2 years ago, I watched Nebraska beat Arkansas State 43-36. And I said, holy cow, we're in trouble. Wow, you can't predict the season on 1 week. You certainly cannot. Go ask Northwestern. They won the Big Ten West last year and had a pretty damn rocky non-con.
Yes, they did.
It was also, was Northwestern that good, or was the Big Ten West that bad?
The Big Ten West was that bad.
Yes.
Iowa and Wisconsin allowed Northwestern to win the division last year.
You can't have that. Back on track, these are games where if Nebraska rolls in there and wins big, they're supposed to. If they don't, again, week one can tell you the negatives. Week one doesn't tell you positives. Not really. Not a game like this. Now, if Nebraska was playing Oregon in some kickoff classic down in Dallas and wins that, well, that's going to tell you something. But then again, you had games like Miami, Florida that I watched last week, and that was a muck fest. That was hard to watch. 10 sacks given up by Miami. I'm not knocking you, Jeff. I know he's listening down in Miami, but my Lord. In Florida didn't look that good. Florida didn't look like a top 10 team to me. Week ones are crazy to predict, but I'll tell you what, when it comes to matchups like South Alabama, Nebraska, where you're favored by 36.5, the best you can hope for is that you come close to covering, you soundly beat them, and nobody gets hurt. That's your best case scenario.
All right, so you've given us what you
hope,
and what you fear.
I fear is some tight game down to the wire. We give up 200 yards on the ground, and it just looks like muckball. And wow, we did not look half as impressive as we've been hyping. What I think is going to happen is this: I see a 42-17. I see us anywhere from 24 to I hate giving points. The Oracle taught me better than to predict, but I'm gonna. I see anywhere from 24-31. Soundly, because I can't go on much more. I'd love to say 56-3, and Nebraska rolls out there and kills them. I don't have enough to go on. What are you basing that on? It could happen. It could. What are you basing that on? Hope. Again, let's see it. I think Nebraska rolls. I think they win. I think 4 touchdowns. 24-31, like I said. That's where I have it. What about you?
All right. What I hope that we get out of this game injury-free. That's my hope. Literally, that's the only hope I have for this game. I hope no one gets hurt. No one. That Nebraska goes into that 11 a.m. kickoff, gets through the game, and the injury report is somebody might have a little bit of a strain, but they're going to be fine, and everything's okay. Because this is not a game where you want to lose one of your star players. You can't afford it.
Which draws you to the O-line. Old Cam Jurgens getting the nod. He's going to go.
That's what I'm saying. Well, he's going to be on a pitch count.
Yep.
He will be on a pitch count. He's not going to play the entire game.
Well, I think that, again, not to rehash old shows, but I think you're going to add to the game analysis. And by the way, before we go any further, I will be posting stuff during the game to our Facebook feed.
I will not because I have to work, unfortunately.
I'll be posting, and I will have a post-game analysis on Facebook. My knee-jerk reaction, if you will. I'd love to see musical chairs on both fronts. Tony Tatui, the defensive line coach, already made it very clear that that's what you're going to see on defensive front seven, or at least the D line, is rotation like you wouldn't believe. He's got 6 guys at least that he feels good about. He gave out 6 black shirts for 3 defensive linemen.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about 14 black shirts being handed out when you know there's going to be more handed out because people will emerge as the season comes on. I like how they handed them out.
Yep.
Having the former black shirts hand them out. I love that. But at the same time, you're handing them out. Like you're just, okay, guys, I'm going to play both of you or both strings frequently so everybody gets them. It's like Oprah handing out cars to the audience, man.
But you know the era that we love, we as I guess the whole state looks back at the 90s. You talk to players from the 90s. Back in the day, once you earned a black shirt, you wore a black shirt the rest of the time you were at Lincoln. So there would be 20, 30 guys running around with black shirts. Because once you earned it, it was a right of honor. You got to wear it the rest of the time. You were a black shirt. That's from a dear buddy of mine that was there in the 90s, in 94 when they won it. So I take what you will. I'm kind of a old man about certain things. Get off my lawn type. But you know what? I love the idea. My point is, I love the idea of rotating defensive linemen, keeping them fresh. Your boy, they call him Snacks, younger Damian. Tatui had something pretty funny about him. He's like, he burns a lot of gas real quick. He burns through gas like a jet engine. He's a three-play. I really am rooting for that kid. In the fact that you look at his brother and what we hope, there's that famous word again, he became a captain. His older brother Darian, new to the team by just a few months, works his way up to captain. The stills and the clips we've seen of him, he looks like a beast. He looks like an animal. I'm hoping that his
against our offensive line.
Say what you want. We're going to find out, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going to know a lot more come week 2 instead of this weekend. But you know what? We'll see. I'm hoping for younger Daniels that he can get that conditioning up. Jakeem Green, he's one that hasn't emerged yet. That I guarantee you, if I said this before he got to campus, conditioning, he's not there yet. I think it's a playbook, but I think more so it's you are not conditioned to play in this. So we'll see. Defensively, I think we'll be all right. I'd like to see some sacks.
It'd be nice.
But more so, in Tatui, the defensive line coach, is big on this. Stop the run. Stop the run. Do not give up 200 yards on the ground to this team. Don't give up 150 on the ground. I'd be overjoyed we hold this team under 100. I'm not going to say we're going to.
We won't.
But that's one of those we're going to see. Offensively, Adrian, don't get hurt. Please, God, don't get hurt.
That's my hope.
Yeah.
My hope is injury-free. My fear, inconsistency, penalties, turnovers, everything that we've seen over the last 17 years. Because it could happen that quick.
Yeah.
Hype is great and it's cute, and that's lovely. Hey, that's great.
The thing is,
good on you, boys. People believe in you, and you believe in yourself. I've heard that shit before. Show me something different.
We're actually, believe it or not, as doom and gloom as Boom over here is. The thing is that I said this before. It's scary because I also have a feeling in me that this is going to be a very good team. We've been sold a bill of goods many, many times, but this team has a feeling to it that I've seen tangible change in 1 year. I've seen
the tangible change too.
And so that is better than the bill of goods we've been sold into the last 3 coaches.
Agreed. Here's my concern. Here's my fear. Old habits are hard to break.
Absolutely.
And if they start screwing up, does it spiral? If they start making mistakes, does it spiral? If they have a big lead at halftime, do they put their foot on the throat of the opponent?
Yeah.
Or do they start to coast? Do they get complacent like they have in the past?
My fear and my hope, I guess you could mesh them, is that, and I don't want to get into season predictions yet, because I think that that's tacky. Really, who knows, right? But my fear and my hope is that, I lost my train of thought. I sure did, Boom. It's too much, too soon, too fast. Everybody looks at Central Florida, and I wrote this in the article on row87.com. Too much, too soon, too fast. Well, look what he did at Central Florida. Yeah, look what he did. It was a miracle. And I'm not saying he's not a great coach. I do believe that Scott Frost is the guy to lead this team back into prominence, back into relevance in the college football world that's been missing for a decade. I think he is. But for you to, and he could do it this year. Nobody here on the show is saying that he can't. But God, for year 2, and you think we're just going to come back in with our hair on fire?
That's the problem I have, man. I can't believe it until I start to see tangible evidence that they can do it. You can talk all day long about it, and sure, they look better in conditioning drills. That's not live football. That's not live football.
The thing that sucks about it is, again, week 1, pending. You don't get good news. The good news is you get out injury-free, you roll. And a team like this coming to town, in South Alabama, is not good. They're not good. They're coming off a 3-9 season. Their quarterback can chuck it around a bit. He's a bit – I don't know that he's per se a scrambler, but this is not a team that you're going to know much. Now, Boom over here, we were talking off the air, was like, well, you can't learn anything. I go, oh, you can, but it's not positive. You can learn from week 1. Go ask Minnesota how they feel right now. If you're an analyst – in Minneapolis right now on this team, you can learn a lot. It's not usually positive that you can learn. For us, the best case scenario, they roll 4 or 5 touchdowns, get out of there injury free, Me and Boom look at each other. The rest of the Husker Nation looks at each other and goes, all right, off to a good start. We needed that. You certainly need game ones. We learned that last year. I think it's a different season if they get Akron game. I think it is completely different. Get off. Okay, so what do you fear?
That's what I fear. I fear the inconsistency.
And what do you think? Okay, I'm sorry. Excuse me. What do you think?
Two teams are going to line up on the football field, and God only knows what's going to happen. That's it.
You're going that route for South Alabama?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is the same team that lost to Troy.
Okay.
This is the same team that lost to 8 opponents.
I guess you'll play the bad guy in this movie.
I sure as hell will. I don't have a problem with it. Listen, it's not that I don't believe. Show me. I'm not going to be impressed if they win by 50. That's cute. That's great. You just beat a team you should beat by 50 by 50. Good for you.
Well,
am I impressed by Clemson rolling tonight? No. Am I impressed by UCF rolling tonight? No. They should have. Nebraska beats South Alabama like that? Should have. If they don't, uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, that's how a lot of people look at it. I mean, what I did like, though, Scott goes, we got to earn it. Well, go earn it.
That's what I'm saying. Earn it.
Go earn it.
You make me a believer. Don't tell me to believe. Don't tell me to believe.
We need to cue the villain music. We so do.
Go
with you,
for it.
Boom.
I'll be the say hello to the bad guy. Say hello to the bad guy.
The bad guy's leaving now.
That's good with that.
Hey,
fine.
guys, we're going to be back. We're going to have content coming up from Ashley, myself, and Boom throughout the weekend into next week. Follow us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go to row87.com. Email us at
Schutz.boom@row87.com, and make sure to follow us on Spotify.
We're also on Spotify as well. This show happens because of guys like you. We love you for it.
We do.
We will be back next week.
Hopefully, I'm back to normal.
Yeah, hopefully you're half alive.
Hopefully.
We'll see, but we'll be back. We'll have content. I will have post game. We'll have the whole 9 around the country. It's just getting exciting. Football season's here, Boom.
It's finally here.
We're excited. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Schutz.
I'm Boom.
Later.